Alright, let's see if we get any viewers here. This is some sort of attempt to make a live stream video showing some records that I got today. Let's see if it works. Let's see if what happens. Maybe we should start by doing the intro. Where do we have it now? Or at least the music from it. Hmm. Oh, let's see. Like this. Alright, and we're shutting off that. Let me just see if I can actually see myself streaming to see if it actually looks alright. Probably not. Oh yes, I am actually streaming. Yeah. Right. Going to show you some records that I got today. And the idea was that I read a couple of days ago about the fact that a record store that used to be in Bromma called Bromma Records. Uh, I mean, the online store still exists, but not the actual physical store. That disappeared some time ago, and I was a bit sad about that because it was a really nice place to go to now and then. But now there's a record seller in Solna who, for a couple of, well, every year leaves Sweden to go on a holiday, and then usually other people take care of that store. There's another record store wall to wall, and then I read that this guy from Bromma Records was going to sell records in the same, well, the same building where the other record store usually is. So I decided to go there to see if I could find something interesting. It's a very small room with lots of lots of people, lots of crates with records too, very good prices. But when I had a bit of a look there, I couldn't really find anything that I thought really looked that interesting to me. So I had a short look and then decided no, not really. Then I went to the store that's wall to wall. I mean, on the from that first store, there's another record store uh, as a direct neighbor, and I usually find some good stuff there. And well, I did. I found some good stuff there, and then after having lunch in Solna, I went to this city, and before going home, I took a little trip to a record store called Mickes Skivor. And I hadn't planned to go there, but I did anyway, because I thought maybe I could find something interesting there. So I did. Yes, indeed. So that's what I'm going to show here. Sorry, I have a bit of a sore throat here. I usually edit it out. This is totally unedited, unedited. There's no edit. And well, I see I get 3 viewers. That's nice. That's more than I had last time when I tried to do some live recording. Or live streaming, rather. I'm going to start with 2 very nice sampler albums that I found. And if you don't know what a sampler album is, a sampler album is an album that is issued by a record company, by a record label, where they want to show a bit of, okay, this is the kind of music you can find on our label, this is the kind of artist you can find on our label. And I found two very nice samplers from the late 60s, early 70s. The first, and I think both of them are quite famous. Well, first we have this lovely, it's such a beautiful one, Gut Bucket, with this lovely pig. There's a second sampler called Son of Gut Bucket that was issued a bit later, and I got that already, but I haven't had got hold of this before, and it's in wonderful condition, very lovely. And well, what can you find here? Well, you find artists that usually appeared on the Liberty records, like Captain Beefheart and his Magic Band, Lightning Hopkins, Alexis Corner, Groundhogs, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Canned Heat, of course. I've probably one of the most famous bands on Liberty Records, and yeah. Oh yeah, the Bonzo Dog Band is on this compilation too, with Can Blue Men Sing the Whites, which I think is one of the funniest blues songs ever made. Right? Yeah, lots of good tracks on this, so happy to find it. Then the other one I think is probably a bit less known. It's a sampler of the album Blue Thumb, and it's called All Day Thumbsucker. Looks like this. And Blue Thumb was a fairly short-lived record label. What did we have on that? Yeah, Ike and Tina Turner made some albums on it. Also Robbie Basho, Ainsley Dunbar, and actually we can find Ainsley Dunbar retaliation on this one as well. Bossa Rio, Southwind. They weren't as they didn't last as long as Liberty Records though. I think was it ABC Records who bought them up first. Not sure. Well, two nice samplers to start the day. Let's see what we have here. Yes, this is well, an album with a very famous song. Not sure if the actual singer is as famous. I'm talking about the birds and the bees. Yeah, and the flowers and the trees and the moon up above and a thing called love. You'll not know that one, but I'm sure many of you know that song. But do you know who sang it? I had to think quite a lot before, well, finding it out or before knowing it. It's Jewel Akins, and this is his album, The Birds and the Bees by Jewel Akins. It's on the Era Records label. And they talk about, includes his latest hits, Georgie Porgy. Surely Jewel Akins, did he have any more hits than The Birds and the Bees? I've never heard of Georgie Porgy. Okay, I wasn't around back then, so it's possible that he had more hits. Anyway, he only made one LP, one album, at least according to Discogs, who's a fairly competent source when it comes to this kind of information. Only one album, and this is the one from 1965. Another 60s album. Well, the album is from the 70s, but the music is from the 60s. It's a compilation with the Chiffons. Laurie limited edition series. Everything you always wanted to hear by the Chiffons but couldn't get. So I guess lots of different single tracks here. Some that hadn't been issued before, but many famous ones like He's So Fine, One Fine Day, Sweet Talking Guy, My Boyfriend's Back, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow. I mean, they were a great vocal group. A bit boring that I didn't have a actual image of them on the sleeve. This is from 1975 though, and unlike many other reissues of the time, they haven't put some horrible stereo echo on these original mono recordings. They probably didn't dare. That would piss Phil Spector off quite severely, I think. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, this is an album that looks as if it was from back in the 50s in the way it has been um, designed, but it is a compilation from the 1980s. It's Lavern Baker, I'm Gonna Get You, with Jackie Wilson. I think, yeah, this is from 1987, and that was the year when Jackie Wilson's posthumous hit "Reet Petite" was played quite a lot. So he had a new period of popularity back then. They did these clay animation videos. Um, Same with Nina Simone's "My Baby Just Cares for Me." But this is a compilation, as I said, recordings from the 1950s, maybe 60s even. Probably material from Atlantic, not sure. But I haven't had any compilation with Laverne Baker before, even though I've known about it for quite a long time. Yes, over to another 1980s compilation of 1960s music. It's from the Kent Records label, um, the Ikettes. Fine, fine, fine. Fine, fine, fine. And Ikettes, as I'm sure most of you are familiar with, was the backup vocal group that sang with Ike Turner and yeah, Ike and Tina Turner. Uh, Not sure. Maybe I think even Tina Turner was a member of the Ikettes in the beginning. Not sure there. Not sure there, but that would make sense, wouldn't it? And they made also records on their own. And I like the Ike and Tina Turner style. Uh, their records. I've been buying them now and then when I found them. I like the energy and the rawness of them. And well, even if Ike Turner has been described as a bit of a bad guy in later years, his musicality, you cannot take that away from him. And I think, sorry Tina, I think that the records she made together with Ike Turner was way more interesting than the ones she ever made on her own. Maybe because I'm more into soul than into the kind of pop rock that she did later. Anyway, she's great. She's great. No doubt about that. Yes, and nice compilation. Haven't seen it before, so I got it. Okay, then I'm going to show you two compilations with Swedish 1960s pop. Uh, EMI issued a series of different compilations with more or less the same sleeve design, album design. This is the DJs 1965 to 1967. 16 titles, A sides, B sides, and some other stuff. This is a single album, although many of the other compilations were double albums. Yep. Hello, Rachel. And this is on the CSP Records label. DJs were actually an English band, but they were very popular in Sweden. Probably more popular in Sweden than in England. And yeah, that's right. I don't have that much information about them. Yes, I said I did I did take a tour to both Solna and to Stockholm City today to get some new records, and I thought, why not do a live video for once? If I could get the actual uh, technique to work for me. No problems. I didn't announce it, so. Right. And this is another one in the same series, but this is with the group The Shanes from Kiruna, northern Sweden, 1963 to 1968. And what do we say about them? Yeah, they were very popular in Sweden. They were the first group. They started like a Swedish answer to Rolling Stones with um, lots of rhythm and blues, and all right, do that with lots of rhythm and blues, and they made a big number of albums as well, A sides, B sides, LP tracks, some other stuff. This is a double album. They made their albums on the Odeon label and on the Columbia label, so hence the album consists of one record on Odeon and one record on Columbia. Very very talented group, both doing covers. They started as an instrumental band, doing lots of um, covers of old 60s or well cover songs of rhythm and blues. And also they started as well a guitar band with lots of instrumental numbers, but later they turned into more of a 60s beat pop band. And good productions all in all. This is, and I think they actually, I think, I'm not sure, but they existed for quite a long time. um Not sure if they exist today. I mean, they disbanded for many years, then they made a comeback in the 70s, played through the 80s and the early 90s, and if they play today, it's more on a hobby basis, I guess. Yes, over to the next one, and this is a live album with Elvis Costello live at El Mocambo, March 6th, 1978. For radio station airplay only, demonstration record, not for sale. Well, it is for sale nowadays. This was issued for the American market by CBS. It has a wide promo label. Elvis Costello was a quite new artist, not that known in, well, in US, but of course they wanted him to become famous there, and he became famous. And his first two albums, this year's My Aim Is True and this year's Model, had been issued, and then this was well given. It was presented for the radio DJs. It was also issued on CD, I think, in the early 90s as a part of a boxed set. But yeah, I've had most of the early Elvis Costello recordings on vinyl, but not this particular concert. So, yeah. Hello, Renee. Yeah, it's a really good one. And as I said, I heard it on CD back in the early 90s, but I haven't seen a vinyl copy until now. But now it's part of my collection as well. I have some coffee here. Cheers. Oh, and over to beauty here. A UK pressing from the 1960s that looks in perfect condition. It's a mono issue by Georgie Fame, Sweet Things, from 1960 Boobly Boo 66. And it's like directly from the store as a new issue here. And my video recordings, well, I upload now and then, so You can check those you have missed, but you are too busy there. Anyway, this is in great condition, and I like this kind of sleeve with this overlapping, and it's in perfect condition on the Columbia label, and also it's mono. That's also a bit more fun, I think. And I'm a great fan of Georgie Fame, always been. Uh, Especially these early tracks, these early records, and this is one that I didn't have before. That's an old original. This one is not. Junior Walker and the All Stars, some Motown. The great saxophone player Junior Walker. Uh, this is. It's a British issue, not from the 60s though. From the original was from the 60s, but I think, according to the information or the little hints I get from the way the record label looks and the sleeve looks, I think it's from probably the late 70s, maybe early 80s. It's also available on cassette. And it's not available on CD, so that gives you some ideas. Um, Junior Walker. I'm not a die-hard Motown fan, but Junior Walker and the All Stars is one of the bands that I like a lot. And over to singer that I liked for many years. Well, we already talked about him. We talked about Jackie Wilson. And like many others in my generation, I first heard him when I saw the Clay animation video, so it's the Clay stop motion animation video with Reet Petite back in 1987. This is a compilation album called My Golden Favorites. It's on the Brunswick label. It's in great condition, even though the sleeve is a bit worn here. It is has fake stereo, enhanced for stereo. Not that great, but still. These are many of the earliest great famous songs that he's famous for. Reet Petite, his first one, To Be Loved, Lonely Teardrops, I'll Be Satisfied. Many of these early ones that co-written by Berry Gordy Jr. before Motown fame, I think. So this is I think the original issue was mono issue was released in 1960. I think this is a bit later. Maybe it's a stereo issue, as I said. It may be from 1964 or something. Yes. And speaking about reissues, this is a record that I think many record collectors would, well, I wouldn't say kill to get the original, but it's very sought after. The original is very sought after, and it's a legendary album. I'm talking about Johnny Burnette and the Rock and Roll Trio. This one. This is though a reissue, because no, I'm not willing to pay the actual prices that people want to get the original. I'm not made out of money. This is a British reissue, probably from the late 70s. Of course, one of the most sought after early rock and roll albums, and I thought that if I find a good reissue, I'm going to get it, and if it doesn't cost that much, so got it now. So we'll listen to that later. Okay, two more records to show. This is a record that I didn't know that much about. It's a Tribute to a King by Donny Elbert, and looks like this. It's on Polydor from 1968. So I thought, okay, Who is Donny Elbert? Is that this beautiful girl here? No, it isn't. Donny Elbert is a male soul singer, which of course gives you an idea. Okay, we talk about a bit of a budget issue here when they put a model on the sleeve, a bit of a cheesecake model on the sleeve instead of the actual artist. Yes, but well, tribute to a king. Which king? Okay, it doesn't say anywhere, but when we start having a look on the names of the songs, we My Girl, Mr. Pitiful, Fa 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 Fa, I've been loving you too long, Good to Me. Of course, we talk about Otis Redding. It's a tribute to Otis Redding. Do you also buy modern music? Yes, I do. But then on new vinyl, not that into the current pop music. But of course, there's good stuff everywhere. But you have to look more actively. You have to dig further to actually find something you would like today. So, and also, what do you mean? What do we mean by modern music? Probably I like old music that's been played, old style music that's played by modern artists, because what is really modern, what is new. Okay, the last one. The last one. Another old favorite from the 1950s and 60s, who's, from what I know, still alive, still with us. I'm talking about Lloyd Price. And I've got some compilation albums with him before. This is an album called To the Roots and Back, and it contains new versions of Stagger Lee, Personality, Lordy Miss Claudia, and others. And Where Were You on Our Wedding Day, which is one of my favorites. Um, when I was a kid, I had some sort of compilation album with different artists playing different old 60s songs, and then there were, I think, 3 or 4 tracks by Lloyd Price that I really liked. I liked the way the orchestra was backing him up, and I especially liked the bass player who played a real, yeah, you really started swaying around to the rhythm there. And later, when I heard the old original versions of like Stagger Lee and Lordy Miss Claudia, it's a bit more. It doesn't swing as much as those recordings that I found, but I have an idea. I haven't listened to it yet, so I may be right. I have an idea that the recordings I heard back then was these re-recordings from 1972. But as I said, I will listen to it later. But I get that impression now. And we have one side of new songs and one side with old songs. Uh, and yeah, I liked Lloyd Price. Great singer, great pianist, great songwriter. And you always have that kind of. I like that kind of swing, that kind of rhythm. Puts a smile on your face. Yeah, he's a happy guy here too. All right, on the GSF label. What on earth is that? GSF, never seen that before. No idea. GSF-S-1003. So it's an early issue on that label. I don't know if there were that many made. I never heard of it before, so maybe it was really big. I just don't know. Right. Okay. Thanks to those who have been watching. It's time for me to say bye for now, and yeah, bye for now. Thanks for watching. Toodaloo. Au revoir, as they say, as they don't say in France. Not like that. Okay, bye bye. How do you end this? How do you end this? Yes, that's